Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. So today we'll be talking about our next chapter, which is conservation of plants and animals. So what is conservation? Conservation is to protecting plants and animals. So have you ever visited Bharatpura Sanctuary or Kaziranga National Park or Lok Chau National Wildlife Sanctuary, Great Nicobar Biosphere? So this Bharatpur is in Rajasthan. This is in Assam, which is famous for rhinoceros. So Kaziranga is famous for rhinoceros. Great Nicobar Biosphere Reserve, which is in Andaman and Nicobar. So these are all reserves and wildlife sanctuary, natural park, and biosphere reserves. So these are all three things which is used for conservation in India. So what is the purpose of making these national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, and biosphere reserves, you may ask? So to protect the animals from hunting and from external threat. For example, elephants are taken for their husks or trunks. Pangolins are taken for their scales, which is used in many medicinal purposes. And everything comes with an expiry date. Natural resources gives us services, ecosystem services. To protect these natural resources, we have to protect these things. We have to be more responsive and protect our animals by building national park, wildlife sanctuary, and biosphere reserve, and to support our biodiversity. So ecosystem is made up of biotic and abiotic factor. Biotic means animals, plants, and abiotic means sunlight or air. So these are both the examples of ecosystem which biotic and abiotic factor supports. So for all these three factors, to protect animals from hunting and external threat, to protect our natural resources, and to protect and support our biodiversity, we have to be more responsive and build these national parks. What is deforestation? Deforestation means, just like name subjects, removal. So deforestation or removal of forest stands for deforestation, or cutting down of trees from a land is called deforestation. So you can see in this two picture, man is cutting trees and only one tree, and in this picture there are several trees which have been cut down for several products or human settlement for building their houses or buildings. So these are some examples why plants are being cut. It is a serious environmental concern because we are destroying our environment ultimately by cutting down trees. Causes of deforestation: procuring land for cultivation to grow crops, building houses, factories, urbanization, making furniture. Some natural causes of deforestation are forest and severe drought. So these are some anthropogenic, first, second, third are anthropogenic actions which are caused by human activities. And the fourth point is natural deforestation, where naturally deforestation occurs. So you can see in this picture, for example, forest fire causes deforestation, thermal plants causes, cutting down of trees, urbanization, cars emissions, all these causes deforestation. What are some consequences? One of the major consequences is O2. We will not get O2, which is the worst. And plants act as carbon sinks and they absorb our CO2. CO2 is used in the process photosynthesis. So if we are not observing, plants are not absorbing CO2, then our CO2 will remain in atmosphere hanging, and it will increase the earth at temperature. It increases the level of CO2 in atmosphere. Groundwater is also depleted. Deforestation disturbs the balance in nature. If cutting of trees occur, rainfall and fertility of soil will decrease. Moreover, there will be increased chances of natural calamities, for example, floods and droughts. So these are some dire consequences which are being happening due to deforestation. In this video, we will see if we remove every single service that our forest provides to us, then what happened to us? For example, if we remove every single service that it provides to us, no more paper, no more books, how we'll survive? No more heating, or no more tea, or no more coffee, no more heating. How will we survive? We cannot survive. This can lead to human extinction. No more food, no more water, no more oxygen. How we'll survive? We cannot survive, and hence it will all go into the vein, and this will lead to death. So we need forests for our protection. We need ecosystem services for human settlement and to continue our journey on this earth. And it's not so late. Even you can protect the forest, even I can protect the forest. Just is it just depends on our actions. So please be more responsible. Now here is a very interesting brainstorming question. How does deforestation reduces rainfall on the one hand and causes leads to flood on the other hand? I know it looks like a lot, but we'll come to these points mutually. So trees evaporate water to form clouds. As a result, deforestation leads to less water being absorbed. If less water is being absorbed, then there would be less clouds. So this leads to less rainfall. And what happens when deforestation leads to more rainfall? So water, clouds, rainfall, and these are all connected. So plants act as carbon sinks, CO2, CH4, H2. It is all absorbed by plants. So increase of surface temperature will occur if these gases are being released into our temperature into our earth, and it will lead to increase in temperature, which means climate change, and climate change leads to floods leads to more rampant fast floods. So these are all connected, these are all interlinked dots that you have to match. Moving ahead, how does drought is caused? For example, plant needs CO2 for photosynthesis. CO2, if being not absorbed by plants, it will go straight to the atmosphere. So fewer trees would mean that less carbon dioxide will be remain and will result into the more CO2 in atmosphere. This will lead to global warming as CO2 traps the heat rays reflected by the earth. So global warming means increase of Earth's surface temperature. So if carbon sinks are depleted, then CO2 will remain in Earth and it will lead to global warming, and it will disturb our water cycle and even our rainfall patterns. And if our rainfall patterns is disturbed, then it can lead to droughts. How does deforestation leads to the change of soil properties? So deforestation is a major cause which leads to change in the soil properties. Physical properties of the soil get affected by plantation, vegetation. Fewer trees result in more soil erosion. So removal of top layer of the soil exposes the lower, hard and rocky layer. This soil has less humus and is less fertile. So you can see in this particular picture, trees are being depleted, then our topsoil is being exposed. So after passing of air, topsoil is also being blown away. So again, it is being blown away. So you'll see now the exposed layer is less fertile. It has rocks. So soil erosion is removal of the topmost layer. So if trees are being depleted, the topmost layer will be exposed, the topmost layer is blown away, the hard rocky surface is present now. So this is the dire consequences of deforestation. But why do the presence of trees maintain or lower the rate of soil erosion? Soil erosion is the removal of topmost layer. So if many plants are being held at a single land, for example, this is a land, there are many trees. So the soil is intact now. It is not being exposed because there are trees and it has guarded them. What is desertification? As the name suggests, desert means making of desert. So conversion of fertile land into desert is desertification. It happens due to drought, deforestation, agriculture. If you are not leaving space between two reproductive cycles of growing crops, it is all desertification. How does deforestation leads to floods? We have already discussed, but we'll discuss it more. Deforestation leads to decrease in water holding capacity. So our soil, try to understand, our soil has many layers. So if our topmost layer is not having high water holding capacity, water cannot seep into the lower ground level. The movement of water from the soil into the ground becomes low or very low. So for what is flood? So we see surface which is being covered with water. So water is not going anywhere because soil is not absorbing them. So hence it leads to flood. So there is a question, you have to make a list for the products which you acquire from forest. Will we face shortage of these products if we continue growing, cutting trees? Yes. The services which we acquire from forests are called ecosystem services. So we get many products from forests. For example, fruits, vegetable, wood, leaves, medicines. There are number, plenty of the products. You have to make a list by yourself. But if we don't have trees, we'll not have anything else to use them for our welfare. Here is another activity for you. Animal life is also affected by deforestation. How? You have to analyze this picture. I have already written answer, I know, but you have to analyze it by yourself and you have to find out the loopholes of the deforestation. So you can see here, this gorilla or chimpanzee is being covered under or being, submerged under this tree. So this is happening because they have lost their homes, they have lost their survival, they have lost their habitat. So if they have lost their homes, then the population will decline, and if population will decline, then our biodiversity or ecosystem biome will also be disturbed. So this was all for today. You have to do these two activities. You have to make a list of the forest products and you have to analyze this picture. Even you'll find more points than the three that I mentioned here, but you have to analyze and you have to be more responsive. You have to practice 3 R's, which is recycle, reuse and reduce, because saving earth is our responsibility and our generation will bear the dire or grim consequences if we not preserve our nature. So I'll see you in the next video.